So the second round is going to be a lot of changes. So we came out early with these changes because a lot of people may not qualify due to the changes from the first round. So it is a 20% down payment that comes with the shared appreciation. So when you do go to sell or refinance or in 30 years, you do have to pay 20% of what the home appreciated. But it's going to give you 20% for your down payment. It's unconventional loans only. So by putting 20% down, it avoids the mortgage insurance. So that's going to help lower your payment. In that case, you would just come in with your own closing costs or see if you could get help from the seller. If you did need some help with your closing costs, you can use up to 5% of the Dream For All to cover your closing costs. And then the remaining 15% would be for down payment. We are putting a cap this time, so it's 20% or $150,000, whichever is less. So what that breaks down to is if you're buying a home for $750,000 or lower, you will still get the full 20% down payment. But if you're buying a home that costs more than $750,000, then that's when you will be capped at the $150,000. So that would be the max that you would get for your down payment. And again, when you go to sell or refinance or 30 years, you do have to share 20% of what the home appreciated. You have to be a first-time home buyer, but also the second round, you have to be what's called a first-generation home buyer. So I'll explain that in just a second. But the process is going to be different. So like I mentioned with round one, the money went in 11 days. So it was really, really fast. So we wanted to make sure it's fair across the board. So that way people have a chance if this is the program for them. So it is going to be a pre-registration, randomized selection process. So basically like a lottery. So what's going to happen is the portal is going to open in April. We haven't announced the dates yet. So I do encourage everyone to go on our website and sign up for our e-news. But you can sign up so you get our notifications. We will announce maybe the end of the month, beginning of March, the dates of the portal, which will open in April. So you will still go to a lender and get pre-qualified. The lender's going to fill out a form for you, your pre-approval form. Then once the portal opens, you're going to go into the portal. So the borrower has to do them themselves. So your lender or your realtor can't do this for you. You have to go in and do the registration and upload the approval letter from the lender. So the portal will be open the month of April. So probably about 3.5 weeks. So we'll announce those dates. So you have all of that time to enter the portal. So it could be open April 1, April 30th. So again, we haven't finalized the dates yet. So you have that time so everyone doesn't have to rush to go in the portal the day one because it's not first come, first serve anymore. So once the portal closes at the end of April, no one can enter the portal anymore. And then around mid-May is when we're going to do the random selection. So it's going to be totally random. So no one is guaranteed to get the funding. It's going to be random based on certain regions. So we have divided the state into 9 regions, and we're going to go by the population of that region. So like LA County represents 25% of the state of California. So we're going to allot 25% in that county. So it is going to be based on the county of where you live now. If you get selected, you're going to get issued a voucher. That voucher is now going to allow you to go shop for a home. So that way we don't have everyone rushing out like last time, and then you're not guaranteed the funding. That way you get issued the voucher, you know you got selected for the program. The voucher is going to be good for about 90 days. So that gives you 90 days to find a home and the lender to reserve the loan with us. So that gives you time to be able to find a home. Now, we expect a lot of people to apply, and we only have a certain amount of money for this loan. So that's why we're telling everyone, don't wait unless this is the only program that can help you, because we don't have that much money to help everyone. So you get that voucher. Once you get the voucher, you'll be able to buy anywhere in California. So if you live here now in Orange County, you'll be part of the Orange County selection. But if you get the voucher, you can buy anywhere in California as long as you meet the income limit of the county that you're buying. So the income limits goes by the county of where the home is located. So if you want to go buy in Riverside, San Bernardino, the income limit's going to be lower. So you just have to make sure you meet the income limit of the county that you're buying. So all borrowers have to be first-time home buyers, but at least one borrower has to be what's called a first-generation home buyer. So this is going to disqualify a lot of people, but one borrower just has to meet the first generation. So our definition of first generation is means the borrower has not owned their home has not owned a home at all in the last 7 years, and your parents do not currently own a home now in the United States. So if your parents currently own, then you are not considered first generation home buyer, and you will not qualify for the program. So first generation means you, the borrower, has not owned a home in the last 7 years, and your parents do not own a home now. So your parents could have owned a home, as long as they don't own a home right now, then you are considered first generation. If your parents are deceased, then your parents couldn't have owned a home when they died. So if your parents passed away, they owned a home when they did pass away, then you're not considered first generation. But just one borrower has to be first generation. So if you have a husband and wife buying together, say husband's a first-time home buyer, but his parents own a home, wife is a first-time home buyer, her parents don't own a home, then they would qualify to buy together. But if it's only one borrower buying by themselves, they have to be first generation. So this was a requirement of the state. So this is not a CalHFA requirement. So again, the money's coming from the state. So they set a lot of these guidelines. And their whole idea behind this is that they want to try to help people build generational wealth. So they feel like if your parents don't own a home, then you don't have a home to inherit. So that way you can start that generational wealth by buying a home and being able to pass that on to your kids and your grandkids. So that is going to, kind of a hard, requirement. A lot of people may not qualify. So again, that's why we wanted to come out early with the guidelines. So that way people are not waiting until April and then find out that they don't meet the guidelines. So that way you know now. So if you don't meet the first generation, then you can look at other programs that you may be able to qualify for. And then at least one borrower has to be a current California resident. So at least one of the borrowers has to currently live in California to qualify for Dream For All.